All right, my beautiful friends, you're just so beautiful. All of you are. It's the truth. I can see you. Anyway, yeah, it is a Wednesday. What a Wednesday. February 12th, 2020. Record highs across the board yet again. And how many of you that follow this blog are surprised? Not a single one of you. And I am proud to say that. Uh, Let me let you in on a big, fat, maybe ugly secret. We're not done by a long shot. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so we can gain a perspective on, again, how to stay on the right side of this entire charade. Because that's what it is. It's an entire charade. We're going to go over some headline news, what's driving things, and it's going to be a lot of fun for us. So again, yeah, new record highs for stocks. We're not done. Stocks are probably going much higher in this environment. We heard from Powell today. And, well, you know what? Let's start off with some other assets just real quick. So, yeah, metals were flat today, despite the fact that JP Morgan is now officially under a criminal investigation for spoofing metal prices. How many of you want to bet that JP Morgan will once again get away scot-free, completely unscathed? They never do. JP Morgan has been caught directly rigging the metals markets for decades, and nothing ever happens, and it won't happen now either. It's going to continue until it doesn't. And frankly, for me, good. Let JP Morgan rig the price of metals. Keep going, Jamie Dimon. Keep doing it. Gives us all opportunity to grab this stuff at obviously rigged and suppressed prices. People, look, when you have the largest bank on earth buy assets, rigging the price of metals to the downside, you know that's what you should be holding. It should be an absolute no-brainer to you, and I mean a no-brainer. So, so metals did take a little bit of a hit today. Cryptocurrencies did real well. Bitcoin 10,400, but crude oil finished well above 3% today. On a lot of news, a headline came out. There was an oil refinery fire. How many of you were surprised about that? ExxonMobil. That helped to push crude higher as well. And we're not done seeing that either. Again, you think this fire was by accident? I don't think so. No. And there's also the news that the coronavirus, although it was, used as a fear tactic, appears to be contained or becoming contained. So look, and don't write to me and tell me I'm wrong on this. I practiced medicine for 20 years. I happen to know the pathophysiology of viruses and bacteria pretty well. And I can tell you from a professional perspective that this was overblown on purpose. It was used as a fear tactic. Look here, don't look here. I'm not saying that it's not serious. People have died. People are infected with it. But it was done on purpose to keep you afraid. Keeping you afraid of something allows you to be controlled and manipulated. So I don't want to hear any headlines, but Greg, China's saying this and they're buying body bags and this is happening too. Look, it's all fake. It's all propaganda. It's a virus. We've seen these things come and go since time immemorial. This one, again, on the 5th of this month, I said by the 5th of next month, this is all going to be in the rearview mirror. How many of you want to bet against me there? We'll see who's right. All right, anyway, how many doctors are out here, nurses, PAs? All of you are going to agree with me, unless you're buying the fear factor as well. All right, look, so let's talk about this. Fed Chair Powell today said QE will be used. Now, what he doesn't want you to know is QE is being used right now. What do you call it when a central bank adds digits to a screen in epic amounts to buy debt. Let's see. Maybe it's QE. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on now, but you're not allowed to know it. You're not supposed to know it. Period. The end. Now, I want to go over a bunch of headlines with you here, blow by blow throughout the day, because it's pretty important here. And again, these are things that you really should be paying attention to. They kind of flash it out there. A lot of this stuff gets pulled right away, but this is the kind of headline here, all of these I'm going to read to you, that should give you a perspective on the fake propaganda being shoved down your throat. Now, here we go. The narrative is, as you all know, the economy is booming and we're adding jobs. Well, what the president will not tell you, here, job openings decline at the fastest pace since 2009. You're not supposed to know that. Again, you have to be misled. All your decisions are made for you. And you remember to stay afraid. And the repeated falsehoods are going to get a lot louder moving down the line. Now, here's another one that we found out today. And I want you to think back just a few years ago. Does this sound familiar to you? This was breaking news. U.S. credit card debt hits an all-time record high and delinquencies are rising. Again, any bells going off in here? It should here. So again, and I just kind of outlined this. Two big pieces of news today. Number one, job openings decline at the fastest pace since 2009. And number two, credit card debt hits an all-time high. Delinquencies are on the rise. Now, you think the president will address these issues? Or we continue to call trillion-dollar companies like Apple, I want to talk about Apple in a second, MAGA. Let's talk about Apple real quick. If things remain the way that they are, and what you can expect is a lot more debt to be piled on, just like I spoke to you yesterday. This is the new agenda, the new world order. The president will make sure this happens through the rest of his tenure and the next one. He already won the election. I'm telling you now, but the public will be notified on November 3rd. Apple stock by the end of President Trump's next term will more than double. It will at least double, probably more than double. So there's a little bit of inside information for you. Let's move forward here. President again praising the MAGA companies, and these are the four that he's praising: Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Apple. These just happen to be the same companies I've been telling you to buy over the past several months. And no, I don't talk to the president, and although he could use a little bit of advice. Let's move forward here a little bit. Again, I already covered this. Here's the headline. J.P. Morgan's role in metal spoofing is under U.S. criminal probe. Nothing will happen. Mark my words here. It's a joke why they even announce this stuff. It's almost like they just throw it in our face. Now, look, I want to expose this lie a little bit, and if you don't believe me, I want you to look it up for yourself. We were told initially that the Iran missile attack on our two bases caused no injuries. These were the words of the President of the United States. Now, the military is starting to get pissed off. This was a lie. There are at least 109 United States troops now diagnosed with traumatic brain injury because of the missile barrage. But you're not supposed to know that either. You don't believe me? You think it's fake news? Look it up for yourself on the military news sites, okay? This particular one is Military Times. I think it's a very trusted site. Now, you know what? Before I get there, I want to talk a little bit more about Fed Chair Powell. He went on to say that QE will be used. This is his exact statement. The Fed will aggressively use quantitative easing to fight the next recession. So what does that mean? That means that he will continue to bury our country in debt, create more slaves on an industrial scale, not care what this does to the middle class. Again, it will destroy them. And of course, we're getting negative rates. There is no doubt about this. And here's another one too. U.S. runs a $3.6 billion January budget deficit. Now look, this is just in January. Let me open this up real quick because it's horrible to put this into perspective. The deficit for the current fiscal year to date here is 79 billion more than the same period last year. Now, how many of you that follow this blog are surprised about that? Because I've been telling you since time immemorial that debts and deficits are going to continue to explode. And that's exactly what is going to happen. There's no way out of this. U.S. deficit surges 25%. And is on target to exceed $1.5 trillion just over the next year. Again, this is part of the design. It's baked in here. The fact that the president puts forth a budget with a over $1 trillion gap in it shows you he's pricing in the Fed to issue in their final solution. He's helping the Fed to do what they've been trying to do now. So did Obama. For multiple decades to become the lender and buyer of last resort here. None of these clowns work for you. You understand that they work for the military-industrial complex and the New World Order. President Trump has been the chosen one to help quickly usher in the New World Order that really got started under Obama. Okay, President Trump was selected, obviously, to win here. You ever wonder why Hillary didn't show up at the defeat rally? Because she understands she was playing the game and she didn't want to show her face. I voted for President Trump, as you all know. Yeah, I got duped. Anyway, before I let you go real quick, the end game. I did an interview recently with activistpost.com. I want you to watch this, okay? I'm going to place a link to this interview in the description of this video. You don't want to miss it. Trust me on this. You don't want to miss this interview. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. You'll understand more about what's going on here. All right, so people, look, a very important video, a little on the long side. Please share it. Get it out there. Watch the end game. Again, there is a link in the description of this video. Let me know what you think. And this guy is out of here, but not before saying, I love all of you. That's the truth.